This is the International Criminal Court in The Hague. It's been part of the global justice system for nearly 2 decades. The ICC, also referred to as the World Court, has global jurisdiction. It was established by the Rome Treaty in 2002 to prosecute those responsible for the worst crimes like genocide and crimes against humanity. When such a serious crime is committed on the territory of a country which has ratified the treaty, the ICC has automatic jurisdiction. The World Court is currently investigating whether American troops committed war crimes in Afghanistan. The United States has refused to join the ICC, but Afghanistan is a member state. The administration of US President Donald Trump has been infuriated by the probe. The US has been a vociferous critic of the court since its foundation, but this week Washington took its enmity to a whole new level. The US announced sanctions against senior ICC officials. Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda is among those targeted by the American sanctions. The measures were announced by US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. He accused the ICC of, quote, illegitimate attempts to subject Americans to its jurisdiction.
The global hegemon is contemptuous of the very idea of international law, of a single legal standard to which all countries must obey. The U.S. regards itself as exempt, and so therefore it feels free to behave as illegally as it wants.
The U.S. measures against the International Criminal Court comes a few months after U.S. President Donald Trump issued an executive order paving the way for American authorities to block the assets of ICC staff and deny them entry visas. The World Court was quick to condemn the US measures. It said in a rare statement that the American sanctions are unprecedented and constitute serious attacks against the court and the Rome Statute system of international criminal justice. The ICC pledged to stand by the work of its staff. Meanwhile, the European Union said on Thursday that it stands firm against all attempts to undermine the international system of criminal justice. The EU pledged to step up its support to the ICC. Human Rights Watch also condemned the American sanctions as a shameful new low for US commitments to justice. Observers want to find out whether the US measures will affect the probe that seems to have deeply alarmed the US. The US-led invasion of Afghanistan in October 2001 has resulted in nearly 2 decades of war. A very large number of Afghan civilians, including children, have lost their lives in American and US-led airstrikes. The US-led military campaign has failed to wipe out militancy. It instead devastated Afghanistan and has left the country grappling with a long list of problems such as poverty, unemployment and illicit opium production. Some even call war-torn Afghanistan a failed state. The World Court is right now probing the actions of the Taliban militant group, the Afghan government and the US military. Observers believe the United States has a lot to worry about as the International Criminal Court investigates its actions during the war.
It's worried about being embarrassed. It's worried about having its connections with certain terrorist networks like the Haqqani network exposed. It doesn't want its activities held up to scrutiny. It's very happy to hold other countries' activities up to scrutiny, but doesn't want its own actions inspected in any way.